We're here for case number 3928, Juan Miguel Ramos versus Brendan. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Brendan or Brandon?
Brandon.
Brandon O'Neill. Is it Ramos or Ramos?
Ramos.
Ramos. Mr. Ramos, sir, you're suing the defendant here for $75,000 in damages. Am I getting that correct? What's this? Negligence resulting in personal injury and emotional distress.
Sir, I should
Hold on. Give me 1 second. And Mr. O'Neill, sir, it shows that you filed a countersuit requesting a restraining order.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Sir, what happened to your head, if I may ask?
You see this? I mean, you're a fellow bald man. You see what I got to go outside with?
Okay. Is that in relation to this case? Oh, God.
I wouldn't be here otherwise.
Why don't you have that, like, covered up or bandaged?
Honestly, I did have it, but someone recommended me for it to air out and dry out properly. So obviously I'm here. I took out the bandage to let you see what's really going on. Like, I'm not here.
Buckle up, guys. Today we're going to watch a courtroom spiral from the very first second. Judge Porter opens with a sharp warning, setting the tone before either side even speaks. The plaintiff immediately presents a dramatic head injury, insists it proves deliberate hatred from his neighbor, and frames the case as personal persecution. The judge pauses proceedings to clarify the claims, the damages, and the visible injury, signaling early that emotions are high and control will be tested.
For any games.
And I'm going to assume that you're saying that Mr. O'Neill is responsible for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
This guy right here.
All right. Tell me what happened.
Okay, Your Honor. First of all, I'm going to start off. This guy hates me. He hates my lifestyle. He hates that I come with a party every time, and I understand it's late hours.
Why does he hate you?
Because why else would someone do this? This is a deliberate thing.
Okay, how did that happen?
Exactly. So I'm on my property. He's on his property.
Okay, so you guys are neighbors?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Continue.
And sometimes I like to have my green thumb, and I'll cut my stuff myself on my property line. He has his line. I always respect his line. I never cross over. And one day I'm, trimming this bush that I have that's close to where he was, and he didn't give me any sign. I have my AirPods on, and he didn't tell me, hey, I'm using the weed whacker, and I'm going to be close to where you're at. And for some reason, I don't know what I was doing. I dropped something, and as I dropped it, I come down. He's deliberately in my area, just going in. And
okay.
look what I got to live with.
I want to make sure I understand this correctly. You're saying that because you guys live next door to each other, I'm assuming, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you're on your property and you're doing lawn work on your property.
Yeah. But I was trimming. I wasn't doing, like, he has a weed where I don't have that.
But you were doing lawn work on your property.
Yes.
And you were doing lawn work as well. And his lawn work caused your injury. Is that where I'm at?
Yes. And emotional damage too, because now I got to walk outside with this. I don't feel as confident.
As testimony begins, the plaintiff describes a neighborly dispute turned violent during routine yard work. He claims he was trimming bushes on his own property when debris struck his head, causing physical and emotional damage. The judge repeatedly redirects him toward facts, clarifying property lines, timelines, and responsibility. Despite interruptions, the injury itself is acknowledged as real, shifting the case from speculation to accountability, while tension builds over whether this was an accident or something intentional.
How long ago did this occur?
This happened about two weeks ago, around there.
2 weeks ago? Okay. All right. I don't know who told you to. I mean, I get the logic behind airing it out, so I get that. But
I just wanted you to see.
And I'm not a medical professional, but sir, I would recommend you cover that up next time because you don't want infections or anything of that nature. Yeah. I could see clearly that that you were definitely injured.
Look at this.
The argument escalates as the plaintiff insists the incident was deliberate, accusing the defendant of hatred and malice. Side comments and personal jabs begin creeping in, forcing the judge to issue a firm warning about courtroom conduct. with both men talking over each other. The judge makes it clear that discipline will follow if order is not restored. The emotional temperature rises, and the case pivots from injury details to credibility and behavior.
Okay.
Look at this.
All right. So my question is, why do you say this guy hates you? You saying that this is deliberate?
Yeah, it's definitely deliberate. I mean, look, why? How? Like, it's a tough time explaining the story.
Okay, here's my
Stop
question.
looking at me like you don't know what happened. Because you know what happened. You know what happened.
There will be no yelling at each other. The only person that
sorry,
you will
I'm
address
trying to be
is
as cordial
myself.
as possible. Look at me,
All right,
man.
sir. Your property, is this separated by a fence or a hedge line? What separates your property?
A hedge line. We don't have a fence. We have a hedge line.
Okay.
We both agreed to this.
All
He
right.
knows my property line. I know his. I would never cross over. Maybe my dog.
The defendant finally presents his version, calmly describing meticulous lawn maintenance and blaming overgrown hedges encroaching onto his property. He admits using a weed whacker, but claims the plaintiff wandered into danger while impaired. He minimizes the injury as accidental debris, not direct contact. This testimony reframes the case as a matter of personal responsibility and property rights, creating a sharp contrast in demeanor that the judge closely observes.
Took a dump on his lawn and I forgot to pick it up, but I was in a rush.
Okay.
Forgot you were watching. You looked
I
right
forgot,
at
man.
it.
It's
You
a dog.
ignored it.
All right.
Gentlemen, please, I'm only going to say it one more time. If I have to say it again, both of you will be in jail.
Apologies, Your Honor.
Okay.
Apologies.
Now, Mr. O'Neill, sir, you've heard what Mr. Ramos said about his injury. Were you doing lawn work that caused this?
Your Honor, I was taking care of my lawn. I take great pride in my property and I maintain my lawn meticulously.
Okay.
Mr. Ramos does not. And he allows his hedges to overgrow and come onto my
This is a
side of
hedge
the property.
line that separates your property.
Yes, I
Okay.
maintain my side impeccably, and he lets his grow wild. So, periodically, I will go out and I will, as is my right, when his hedges impede into my property,
Under questioning, the plaintiff struggles to give direct answers about his location during the incident. Instead, he launches into lifestyle boasts and personal insults, prompting repeated corrections from the judge. The court presses for one simple fact: where he was standing when he was struck. His evasiveness weakens his narrative, and the courtroom tension tightens as patience wears thin and credibility begins to erode.
trim them back, which is what I was doing. And while I was using my weed whacker, he was using weed, if you know what I am saying.
Okay.
And so I'm using my weed whacker, and he comes over out of his mind and basically walks into it. And I'm not even sure he did that because I didn't see it happen. I was reaching around trying to get to a hard to reach spot. And I think maybe some debris flew off and maybe hit him.
Maybe.
But this was completely his fault. He saw me doing the work and he walks into it.
Wait a minute.
Maybe.
When this incident occurred and you got struck, okay, where were you standing?
So you see the hate that he's coming with, right?
I don't see the
Smoking,
hate.
Like, what does me smoking weed have to do with anything? It's my
Yeah,
property.
I see.
You know
where
what
you're
I'm saying? So you see what he's trying to get at me with?
I understand, but you
It's
didn't
my
answer my
property.
question.
I do what I want.
Where were you standing when you were struck?
All right. So I was on the corner of my property line, corner lot where, this close to the mailbox, close to the street. Because, look, I got a life. I don't know what you're doing in your minivan. I'm driving a Porsche. You jealous of my lifestyle, and I get it. All right.
Oh God,
my
Mr.
girls are hot.
Ramos,
Your
Mr.
wife
Ramos,
is.
Mr.
She need to go
Ramos.
to the gym.
Sir, please. I
All
didn't
right.
ask you about your
It's
Porsche.
okay, my bad.
I didn't ask you about your
It's-
mailbox.
Look what I gotta live with.
Sir.
He's lucky. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to keep myself together for you,
Sir,
so you can
I'm
understand.
trying to keep myself together so I don't throw you in jail. You're not answering my question. Where were you standing when you were hit?
Okay. I was close to the corner where the street is.
The discussion turns technical, focusing on hedge ownership, HOA rules, and maintenance obligations. The plaintiff admits the hedge is his, and that the HOA had warned him about upkeep. The judge probes whether hiring help could have prevented the situation, while establishing that both parties were working nearby. This section quietly lays the legal foundation for responsibility, moving the case away from emotion and toward duty of care.
Where my mailbox is, because
So were you standing on your property?
yes,
Okay, and where were
was
you
on my
standing
side.
when this incident occurred?
I was on my property.
Okay, so now the question is about this hedge. Who owns the hedge?
Mr. Ramos does.
So it's your hedge.
Yes.
And your hedge is the dividing factor between your property and your property.
Yes, Your Honor.
And
He didn't
you're
want to pay for
saying
it.
that he allowed his hedge to be overgrown and you were cutting the hedges.
I was doing him a favor, Your Honor, yes.
Well, what do you mean you were doing him a favor?
Yeah.
What
Well, I
does
was
that mean?
maintaining the hedge. I
Does
was
it look like
doing
a favor?
his yard work for
Does
him.
this look like a favor to you?
That's
Mr.
your
Ramos,
fault.
Mr.
You
Ramos,
walked into
Come
it.
on, man.
He's talking about a favor, though,
Sir. All right, so you were trimming the hedges, doing him a favor because they were overgrown. Let me ask this question. Do you guys have an HOA?
Yes, Your Honor, we do.
Okay, is there rules for this HOA as far as that particular hedge goes?
Of course, all HOAs they're a pain. You
Okay,
know.
so they've addressed you about this particular hedge?
yes, they have.
And what I'm just curious, what did they say?
Well, they said that I need to keep it trimmed and I need to keep it in an orderly fashion.
Okay.
I mean, I will admit sometimes I'm not on top of it because I'm not a professional gardener. You know, I don't do this for a living.
This is
but
true.
I'm trying to, save where I can, and I like the
Have
therapy of
you
it. I put on
considered
music, I smoke.
I understand, but have you considered maybe hiring someone to trim your hedges?
Yeah, sometimes when I'm out of town and I'm traveling, and yeah, I'll call up my guy and he'll come do it. But sometimes in between, I like to do it myself. You know, I put on my music. You know,
And
I do
on this
whatever I want
particular
on my
day,
property.
you were doing some type of yard work. You said that
was
you
like
were trimming a bush or a lawn or something like that?
Yeah, it was like a small maintenance because, this guy's always complaining about every little thing I do. It's the music, the girls that are coming over. Like, he just hates my whole lifestyle. And I
Okay,
get
here's
it.
my question now. When you were trimming the hedges, did you see him
Yeah. See,
standing on the property, on his property?
I saw him out in his yard, yes, Your Honor.
Okay, now, was he within the vicinity of this particular hedge line while you were trimming?
He was kind of moving around. I mean, he might have come over nearby.
Okay, is it a possibility that the proximity of where he was standing in relation to where you were working on the hedge was kind of close?
Is possible, yes, Your Honor.
Okay, because my concern here is that he has an injury that he says occurred from your actions.
Your Honor, I understand what you're saying, but look at this from my point of view. I was on my property using a garden tool, which is completely normal and regular.
Okay.
He was in his yard. He was impaired.
Okay.
And he saw me working, knew the danger. I can't be responsible for him coming into,
coming within close proximity of you working to
exactly.
do
common
work
sense.
where
It's just common
where
sense.
you're doing him a favor.
Exactly, Your Honor.
Okay.
Exactly.
Here's the problem now. Here's the problem. When you say you're doing him a favor, what do you mean by that?
Well, the HOA has asked him to trim back those hedges. I have asked him to trim back those hedges.
But the HOA didn't ask you to trim his hedges.
No, that's me doing him the favor.
Okay. Now, the hedges, did you do the entire hedge? Or were you working for that goal to do the entire hedge?
Yes, Your Honor, absolutely.
Even the part that faces his property?
Yeah, I was just kind of reaching over and
Just reaching
just
over?
doing a little,
Okay, all right.
helping him out.
Okay,
Judge Porter delivers a detailed explanation of liability using clear hypotheticals, comparing flying debris to sprinklers and stray baseballs. The point is unmistakable. Once someone takes action that can affect others, safety becomes their responsibility. The defendant's claim of doing a favor collapses under scrutiny as the judge explains why professional landscapers stop work when people are nearby. The ruling direction becomes obvious.
I get that. See, here's the problem.
There's a
And
problem.
I understand what you're saying. If I'm on my property line and he gets, that's not my fault. I was standing on my property. if you are, I don't know, let's say you are watering your lawn.
Yes.
And you have a sprinkler system that's there to water your lawn. And let's say that you have the pressure up a little bit too high, and hypothetical, of course, there's enough pressure to go from that sprinkler onto his property, and it hits him in the face and it causes damage. Would that be your fault, even though the sprinkler's on your property and he was standing on his property? Do you think that would be your fault?
Well, Your Honor, if he can see the water coming into his yard and chooses to walk into it, is
Okay.
that my fault?
But do you not have a responsibility to ensure the safety of things that's coming from your property that has a possibility of going to other properties? Don't you have a responsibility to that, sir?
I thought I had a right to trim my own bushes.
I mean, if you're playing in your backyard with your kids on your property and you're playing, say, baseball,
yes.
and you throw the ball and your kid hits the ball and it goes flying into your neighbor's property and it breaks their window, are you responsible for that?
In that case, yes, Your Honor, I would be responsible for that window and I would replace that.
Okay.
But
And
I think this is very different.
It's
It's
respectfully.
different? How is it different?
Because you walked into
Mr. Ramos, sir, please. Sir, here's the issue at hand. I understand that you wanted to trim this hedge line because the cosmetics of it.
Yes.
It looks nice.
Yes, Your
And
Honor.
he's not doing his job to make it look nice.
Yes.
But the problem is, once you take that responsibility to do that, you also have a responsibility.
The judge concludes that the injury was accidental but preventable, granting the full $75,000 for personal injury and emotional distress, while issuing a stern warning about future conduct. Court is adjourned, and both parties react bitterly outside the courtroom, each claiming injustice. The conflict ends not with closure, but resentment on both sides. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.
Responsibility to make sure that you're working in a safe working environment within the proximity of where you're working. The problem is with that is I may hit somebody who's standing close by with flying debris or maybe even machinery. I don't know if you've ever seen this before, but if you go into like an apartment complex or say a business park and the guys are on their lawn machines and they're driving to cut the lawn, if you walk within proximity of that, even if it's like maybe 10 feet away, they stop doing what they're doing. If you go to the park and they're doing lawn work with their weed whackers, if you come within close proximity, they stop doing what you're doing until they feel that you passed, and then they go back to work
Exactly.
for safety. That didn't happen here.
Nope.
You were trimming, by your own admission, you were trimming, and some of your trimming was on his side because you wanted to make it look nice. You were reaching,
Yes.
and you accidentally hit him.
I don't know about accidental, Your Honor. but
Absolutely
this is-
accidentally.
Acc-
If I
absolutely.
even did.
Mr. Ramos, what is wrong with you, man?
How could you believe this guy, man?
You know, I could dismiss this case right
All
now.
right, I'm sorry.
We can do that,
I don't want
and
that.
then
now.
I'll be happy, and
No.
I don't have to hear you anymore.
Exactly.
How about that?
Maybe I'm talking too much.
You talk way too much. So, we agree that what you did was an error. It was a mistake. It was not intentional. Unfortunately, he suffered as a result. Okay? Unfortunately,
Your Honor, may I say something briefly?
Yes.
I feel like you're about to rule, and I just want to say, if you
I
can
am
see the
about to
way
rule.
he is looking at me, this is why I have asked for a restraining order. Can you see the hostility?
I'm going to
that's
get to
coming
that.
towards
I'm
me?
going to
Okay.
get to that in a
Okay.
second. So, this is what we're going to do. The $75,000 that he's requesting for, let's see here, personal injury, emotional distress.
Emotional distress. I'm suffering, Your Honor. I'm sorry. I don't mean to, be bursting out so many words and maybe cutting you off.
I'm going to grant him that. Okay? Now, Mr.
Thank
Ramos, you listen to me. If this man says you caused him any problems after today in relation to this, then me and you're going to have a problem, and you're going to be standing in this courtroom again. And I'm making myself clear.
Yes, Your Honor.
Court is adjourned.
I'm happy with the verdict. Obviously, I feel like I should have been granted more money. This guy's I'm suffering so much, but you know what? The 75,000, I'm gonna take that, and hopefully, I don't know, maybe some skin grafts could fix this. And you know what? I'm gonna just keep my confidence, because I'll make this look good.
I'm incredibly disappointed in this decision. It's obviously unfair. The judge could see what I'm living next to and what a nightmare it is, and I can't believe that he would give that man $75,000. You know what this means? This means my kid can't go to college. That's what this means. This is why I vote libertarian.